Hello and welcome to Camp Xbox. LEGO and gaming are a combo that is now easy to take for granted, with multiple games under the brand year after year. But there was a time when LEGO games weren't as dominant, when releases were a bit rarer. So let's take a look at the past with every original Xbox LEGO game. You might be shocked by how small this library is. All footage was captured off of an original Xbox, and I'd like to thank my YouTube channel members for their support. But let's go ahead and hop into this one. LEGO games were more of a PC affair when I was a kid. There were the LEGO Island games and the LEGO Creator games that I played on my computer. Yet the PlayStation got a few and Nintendo consoles did too, but by the time the Xbox was out, we weren't seeing any games on the console. 2001 and 2002 saw no LEGO games. We wouldn't get the first one till 2003 with Bionicle. This would be from Argonaut Games, which makes this the only non-Traveler's Tales game from today, and that does make it stand out as something different because it doesn't fit the format of those games at all. Bionicle is more in line with a traditional platformer of the era. I remember Bionicle for being a huge deal back in the 2000s. They had some really cool designs for the era with a cool robotic look that deviated from the standard LEGO style. I did like them, but I was never into the lore or anything like that like some people. Bionicles have a whole backstory and a plot that made them memorable for so many kids, and it made it more than just a toy. In this game, you swap between multiple Toa that protect the areas of the island Mata Nui. The Toa are themed after the many different biomes that exist there. Each Toa gets their own adventure in the game as they go against the evil forces of Makuta. In many of the cutscenes, they use terminology for the Bionicle world, and to be honest, it's a bit hard to follow. You get the gist, but it feels like you need a primer to fully understand this game, but the plot and gameplay don't offer enough to make that worth doing. So I'd say this is more for fans to follow along with. And this game in particular was made to coincide with a straight-to-DVD Bionicle movie, and this game was quite rushed, with a game that takes 2 to 3 hours to beat, which I usually don't complain about game length. A good game can be short, but here I do think it's a detriment. Ideas for gameplay and certain elements don't get enough time, and some of the worst bits of the game get way more time than they deserve. The actual platforming half of this game is surprisingly decent. It's a bit basic, but going through all the different biomes, it helps inject variety into the game. In particular, I love the water levels, which have a creative design where you swim and do large leaps out of the water to reach high platforms. The action also stands out because this could have been an easy beat-em-up style game, but it actually incentivizes strategic play, rewarding dodging and hanging back away from fights. It's got a fun flow with its action, and that mixed with good platforming, you have a pretty fun game. Yet these portions end abruptly, and half of the game focuses on riding levels. Levels where you ride on vines, ride minecarts, or you slide down something. And if you know me, these type of levels are gaming tropes I can't stand. Levels where you slide down something, dodging and moving, are in so many games, and they are uncreative and boring. And this game is a treasure trove of levels like this, and none of them are enjoyable. Just simple, easy gameplay on slides, and they are tiring. It's not necessarily broken, but it's plainly not fun. I will say this game gets a lot of flack for its look, but I do like the style of this game. It's got a nice island vibe with bright colors. The color palette is really nice, and I think they could have easily made this a dark game since Bionicle were darker, but them leaning into the island look helps out the game. It goes in line with a really fun soundtrack with a tribal feeling to it, so I do want to say this game really isn't all bad. Honestly, it's not terrible. I find this game is just so short, and with half of the gameplay being dead in the water, it makes for a game that feels rushed and weak overall. It's going to be one of those games where I feel like fans might enjoy it more, but looking online, I feel like I'm easier on this game than some. Many critics and people online hate this game, but I will say after this one, the LEGO games get much better. In 2005, we got a LEGO game that would change everything, with LEGO Star Wars the video game. This would enter Traveler's Tale as the developer and set up a precedent and style for LEGO games that many know of today. It was a match made in heaven, mixing video games, Star Wars, and LEGO, and it spoke to many at the time. I remember many kids at my school having this one. I didn't hop into this series until the next entry because I always preferred the original trilogy, but playing this in multiplayer with friends just always worked well. So in this game, you get to play through the 3 prequel movies. You go through with each character in the important scenes from the movie, and you just generally follow along with the story. Though along the way, you solve puzzles and destroy things. It features a ton of collectibles, many of which require you to replay the game. Along the way, you get cutscenes that are like the movie, but are more of a comedic take on it, featuring mumbling audio and pantomiming that makes the movie feel silly. I always love watching these, and they feel like parodies. I personally feel like these games lost a bit of soul when they started adding voice acting into them. I enjoy the amount of replayability packed into this game. You unlock so many new things along the way, such as new characters to play with, and then you get to utilize them in different ways within each of the levels, inserting characters into scenes that they don't actually fit into, but it will open up many different doorways and areas that you may have not seen the first time through. If you're really into collectathons, in my opinion, this is one of the best options you can get on the original Xbox. Just spend a few hours with a friend hunting these down and bringing in the right characters, and it really is a treat. Mix this with a nostalgic air too, at least nowadays, since these movies are now hitting 20 years old. Revisiting the music, John Williams' iconic score gets a lot of love here. It's not just the normal Star Wars tracks that you're used to, you get a lot of interesting stuff here. The music in particular is what gets me whenever I play any of these games. It reminds me of going to the theater for each of the prequel movies. I try to separate nostalgia from gaming, but with Star Wars, feel like it's hard, and I imagine if you grew up with it or just enjoy the franchise, you're gonna always get some type of nostalgic spirit sitting through any of these games. Throw in that it's just a solid looking game too. Its art design is truly what makes it shine, where the world is fully constructed with LEGO, and the sound effects of building and collecting studs are all achieved well. The spirit of LEGO really comes through in the sound, and it mixes well to make it an effective game. It all looks clean on the Xbox, and the best word to use for this game is charming. Just one of those family games that not only works for kids, but also adults. Just a solid little title with tons of content to explore. This really makes up for the lackluster feel of Bionicle and gives LEGO games a bit more spark on the console, which I believe only goes up from here. In 2006, we would get LEGO Star Wars 2, the original trilogy, taking the concepts of the original game and putting them into the 3 original movies. I feel like with this release, Traveler's Tales was making a statement that they had a formula and it was going to stay. This is the one that hits the most home for me, as there was a time I was obsessed with my Xbox copy of this game that I had back in the day, and it's a game that's hard to tear a bit away from the personal nostalgia from, yet I could still say this game in particular is a great way to end LEGO games for the Xbox. So the concept of this is the same as the last one, where you play through the core movies of the original trilogy, playing the biggest scenes from them. Not a crazy amount has changed, but I do feel like this is an upgrade. Even down to the hub world here, where now you get to be in the cantina, which is awesome to move around in and see all of the little minifigures roaming around. Mix in the nice character customization screen and smoother gameplay experience, and you have an upgrade, and it's still more of a great thing. As a huge fan of the original trilogy, it's a blast in LEGO form. The same mumbly cutscenes are funny and creative, and it really shows how much the developers love the franchise, with many Easter eggs hidden all over this game. Also, there's a stronger focus on vehicle-based missions in this one, and those are really fun. It's a nice way to boost the variety in the game against gameplay that could feel a bit samey after a bit. Yet, I feel like with family co-op games, doing the same thing over and over isn't necessarily a bad thing. It's easy for everyone in the room to grasp and really enjoy enjoy, all the while knowing exactly what to do. The look of this game is better here too, though not a crazy upgrade. Yet this game did see an Xbox 360 release at that time, so there is a bit of a crossover there. On the original Xbox, it still holds its own. It's more about art design here anyways, and the way things are constructed to look like Lego sets in every way, and it's a really solid look that helps keep it consistent with the films, along with the incredible score you get to hear throughout this, showing off the wide variety of amazing music made for the movies. I don't want to get too deep in this one because it is a lot of the same from the last Lego game. To some, that might be a bit of a letdown, but back then, it was a case of more of a good thing. There was a time when this type of gameplay was fresh and innovative. There were fun looks at the movies and great collectathons, something the original Xbox needed more of, and I still think this is genuinely fun to this day. And that's it. There were only 3 Lego games on the original Xbox. Compared to other consoles of the time, it just didn't see as many. After this though, there was a solid decade where console Lego games were constantly coming out, but it's definitely slowed down nowadays. After this point, Lego would move off the original Xbox, though the PS2 would still get a few more Lego games. The 360 would start to get them, and also I've seen a bit of a misconception with some that the complete saga saw an OG Xbox release, but it didn't. That never made it onto the original Xbox. This was the game that combined both Lego game releases into one, and unfortunately, that great game never saw a release on the original Xbox. I thought this would be a fun look back though, when people weren't as used to the Lego formula and we saw the rise of it. Be sure to let me know in the comments if you enjoyed any of these Lego games. I'd love to hear from you. But that does wrap it up for today. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like as it really helps me out in the algorithm. Subscribe to keep up with more retro Xbox videos, and check out Camp Extras for more gaming videos. And I want to give a huge shout out to my YouTube channel members. Thank you so much for your support. You really help out the channel, and I'll see you here next time at Camp Xbox.